How did you get started in the business?
Okay, so I studied film in college at NYU. I always wanted to be a filmmaker, movies, that kind of stuff. And I learned how to work the camera and at NYU Film and made some student films, stuff like that. And then I switched paths at college and went to study something else and gave up film, regrettably. And after college, I went to Wall Street. And I was there for, I was working on Wall Street from about 95 till 2000. I was miserable. I just hated it. I really hated it. I wanted to make movies or write or do something creative. And I spoke to a good friend of mine named Michael Judge. Wonderful guy, really interesting guy, Michael with a Y, worth looking into. And I said, Michael, I'm miserable. I hate what I'm doing. I'm making money and so forth, but I really want to do something creative. I'm scared though, you know, I don't know what it is exactly that I want to do, but I'm afraid to let go of what I'm doing because I'm making money and so forth, and it's a clear path. But I'm really miserable. In fact, I had a girlfriend at the time, and I said, I just want to quit my job and just write, maybe make a movie. And she laughed at me. She actually laughed at me. She was like, well, you're just going to sit around all day and write? And I spoke to Michael and I said, this is what I want to do. I want to just quit. And he said, you have to do that. He said, think about what the world would be like if people did what they were afraid to do. I was like, okay, thanks. And I didn't do it for another couple of years. So about several years, 2005-ish, I spoke to a good friend of mine named Gary Winnick, who was a filmmaker. And I said the same thing, basically. I'm miserable. I really want to make a movie. At that point, I had written one script. It wasn't very good, but I had completed it. I'd started it and finished it, and it was a good feeling. And again, I said, I'm miserable. I hate what I'm doing. And he said, the technology right now is incredible. There's a new camera that just came out called the DVX 100, which is a very sort of cinematic look to it. When I had been at NYU Film School, video was sneered at. It was, you know, it was garbage. There was actually a coffin leaning against the wall of the film department at NYU, and spray painted on it was "Death to Video," because video was very, it just looked shitty. It just looked very one-dimensional and cheap, and it was clearly video. And this new technology in about 2004 or 5, there was texture to it, and it was cool. It really looked cool. So he said, just get the camera and just fuck it, just make it. So that's basically what I did. I quit my job. I wrote this script. I was interested in this topic, monogamy, and I knew I was going to direct it and write it myself. And I was just like, yeah, fuck it. So I made that movie, and that was Sex and Sushi, and that's sort of the short version. That sort of led to somebody saw it in New York and repped it, and it played at some festivals, and then I moved out to Los Angeles, and somebody else saw it and asked me to write something else that got produced, and yeah, that was it though.